All right, let's just jump right into it. We're going to tackle a question today that's, well, it's a little uncomfortable. It gets right to the heart of why some people seem to have it all, financially speaking, while others who work just as hard just can't seem to catch a break. I mean, really think about that. Why does that happen? Is it just about putting in the hours? Well, author Morgan Housel has a different take. He basically says there are these two invisible forces, luck and risk, that have a way bigger impact on our lives than any of us want to admit. You know, we all love this story, right? The idea that if you're smart and you work hard, you'll succeed. It feels fair. It feels like we're in control. But Housel's work kind of pokes a hole in that myth. He suggests that behind every single success story and every crushing failure, you'll always find the fingerprints of luck and risk. And here's the big takeaway from that. We need to be really careful when we judge outcomes, both for ourselves and for other people. Behind that incredible success, there was probably a little bit of good luck. And behind that devastating failure, well, there was probably a big dose of risk that finally caught up. The simple stories we tell ourselves just aren't the whole picture. Okay, let's use a perfect example here, Bill Gates. Now, nobody is saying he isn't a genius who worked unbelievably hard. That's the part of the story we all know, the part we celebrate, but it's not the full story. The series of lucky breaks Bill Gates got it's honestly mind-boggling. Think about this. Back in 1968, he was one of a tiny, tiny handful of high schoolers on the entire planet who had regular access to a computer. He wasn't just smart, he got a head start that was almost statistically impossible, letting him rack up thousands of hours of practice before most people even knew what programming was. And that leads to a really important question, doesn't it? How many other people out there were just as smart, just as driven as Bill Gates, but they were born in the wrong town, or maybe just a few years too early or too late? We'll never know their names because they never got that first lucky break. So let's flip the coin and talk about luck's evil twin, risk. Risk is the brutal reality that you can be brilliant. You can make all the right moves and still get completely wiped out by something you had zero control over, like a sudden market crash. And this is where our brains kind of trick us. When we see someone succeed, we tend to think, wow, they're a genius. We give all the credit to their skill. But when we see someone fail, we're quick to blame them personally. You know, they must have made a dumb decision. And we completely ignore the role that just plain bad luck might have played. The truth is, skill is absolutely essential, but it is never, ever enough on its own. Risk is always there, waiting to turn a great idea into a total disaster. We put winners on a pedestal and we look down on losers, but the line between the two is often a lot blurrier and a lot more random than we think. Okay, so what? What's the point? Does this mean we shouldn't even try? No, not at all. The point is to be smarter about how we approach our own finances. And honestly, understanding how luck and risk really work is like having a financial superpower. This all boils down to 3 huge lessons. First, when you're winning, stay humble. Acknowledge that you probably got a bit lucky because that'll stop you from getting cocky. Second, when things go wrong, have some compassion for yourself. It doesn't mean you failed. It might just mean risk showed up. And third, and this is the most important one, put your energy where it actually makes a difference. Look, you can't control whether the stock market is going to go up or down tomorrow. You can't force a lucky break to happen. But you know what you can control? You have total control over how much you save. You control how you manage risk with your investments, and you 100% control your own behavior, your patience, your ability to not panic. That's where the real work happens. This is so key. Knowing when you have enough is a critical skill. Because when you succeed and you don't have that humility we talked about, you start taking bigger and crazier risks. You keep moving the goalposts until one day your luck runs out. Recognizing luck's role helps you know when it's time to stop reaching and start protecting what you've built. So, we need to change our mindset. Trying to perfectly copy what Bill Gates or some other billionaire did is a pointless game. Because you can't copy their luck. The kinds of extreme risks they took to get to the top would absolutely ruin almost anybody else. So what's the real goal? It's resilience. It's building a financial life that is strong enough to take a few hits from bad luck and just keep on going, because that's what lets you stay in the game long enough for compounding and, yeah, maybe a little good luck to start working for you. And that's really the bottom line here. Success isn't always fair. The world isn't always fair. The best person doesn't always win. But by understanding that, by truly getting how luck and risk work, You can stop worrying about things you can't control and start building a real plan for the messy, unpredictable world we actually live in. In the next chapter, we'll talk about why people who already have enough still lose everything, and how the desire for more destroys wealth. If this explainer helped you see money differently, hit like. Subscribe for weekly summaries of the best finance books ever written.